Have you ever felt like the life you are living is miles away from the life you had planned? Asking yourself the question, why do I feel like I'm not where I'm supposed to be? And why does it feel like everybody else has it all figured out? If you've asked yourself any of those questions, then you are definitely in the right place. Hello, lovely listeners, and welcome back to The Layered Experience. It is the space dedicated to the art of figuring it out, where we peel back the many facets of young adulthood, one intriguing layer at a time. Today's topic is very close to my heart, and I thought it would be important for us to delve into how we can deal with our self-identity when we aren't where we pictured we would be in life. Which can be conflicting because it is not necessarily a bad thing nor a good thing, but it is definitely a confusing thing. Especially when you were sold the lie that if you do A, B, C, D, your life would pan out accordingly. However, before we continue on, I wanted to first express my gratitude for all the love and support you've been showing this space. Every comment, rating, share on social media truly means the world to me, especially when you engage. It helps me a lot. If you haven't had the chance yet, please feel free to drop a like, and if you feel like today's topic resonated with you, let us know in the comments. I'm all ears and eyes to what your experiences have been. So what inspired this episode, you may ask? I was sitting in one of my grad school courses when I had this crazy aha moment, and I just thought to myself, this was never part of the plan. I'm not sure if any of you can resonate with that feeling. For the longest time, I had no plans of going back home after undergrad, but life and COVID had other plans. If you need to know anything about me, for the first 24 years of my life, I had no plans at all to go back to grad school. It was not something that I had foreseen. And even though now I'm not only happy and content with the decision, the same can't always be said for when our current reality completely diverges from the life we have dreamed or planned for. And life truly does come at you fast, and something I'm learning in this season is the art of pivoting. It truly is pivot or be pivoted in these streets. Just reminding us the importance of remaining agile through it all. But let's do a little bit of a rewind. And when you were to meet 13-year-old Maxine, what did she think when I was going to be at my quarter life? I saw myself as completely financially independent, perhaps starting a family, owning a mansion or two, living in multiple different countries. What was I thinking? Fast forward to a 21-year-old Maxine where the vision slightly changes, but it's still crisp and clear. I was seeing skyscrapers, Forbes list, which fingers crossed is still possible, as well as more entrepreneurial pursuits. The constant, clear, detailed picture of success. But here I am where reality diverges from those dreams. I'm not here to downgrade any of my achievements or accomplishments, and I hope you don't have the same tendency as well. Do you have dreams from your younger self that clash with your current reality? And funnily enough, your younger self can be from a few months ago, even a year ago, especially in this season of consistent change when there are breakups and unexpected layoffs, bumps in the road that truly could never be accounted for. For me, I had a very clearly painted picture of the future. And as I've said before, I'm a girl who loves a 5-year plan. And between ourselves, society, our families, our peers, we paint these very detailed images of what our futures might look like. But here I am with life looking so very different. Again, I find that the pandemic really did humble us all. And I think COVID was one of those curveballs for me that I just couldn't get my way around, since it's not something you can work hard at or be the best at. We all had to pause, rethink, and rebuild. But life will always have curveballs. There will always be career shifts, unexpected life events, health effects, changing of priorities. And I do understand that this is a very privileged perspective, because people did lose their life during COVID, and I do not take that for granted. That is a blessing that we're still here. But when I remember leaving college under such short notice, and knowing that the world was shutting down and I was losing an internship I'd been working for due to extenuating circumstances, I'd be moving back home to live with my family, something I hadn't done in a while, with no official plan, I was heartbroken. I recall telling a friend recently, I was literally sitting in the library of my undergrad crying, because I was just like, this was not part of the plan. This one thing about me, I love to hold on tight to a plan. And that's the thing with adulthood. There's no one size fits all formula. There's never truly a way to assess if the decision you are making in your current reality is the best or right choice. When you are a child, there are these definitive milestones that lets you know when you are on the right track. You should be walking at this age. You should be talking at this stage. But when you get older, life is just the test before the lesson. And I agree, we do end up ultimately where we're supposed to be. But what if that's not what I want? Or on the other hand, what if it's more than I had ever expected? I recently had a phone call with one of my closest friends, and we were talking about how our situations are a bit similar, in the sense that life is just moving in ways that we didn't expect, especially considering we were those kids who you do well in school and you participate and you push yourself and you excel, and we kind of just felt like we had little to show for it, at least in that perfectionist, overachieving mindset of ours. And we're discussing how our previous visions do not correlate with our current reality. Despite how much this period of uncertainty sucks a lot, I'm also extremely happy for the ways that we can support each other, and the ways we can see each other and understand each other's situations. It is truly the worst when someone you love and care about, you see them at this pivotal crossroads as an adult, and you have no firm advice on what is the best choice, because you are just as perplexed about the comings and goings of your own life situations and the emotional toll it can take on us. However, I do think we underestimate the grief of lost dreams and the emotional toll they can take on us, especially when your reality does not align with the initial vision. Dreams deferred or delayed or changed are not just about plans. They truly tug at the very sense of our identity. We don't just mourn visions, we mourn versions of ourselves. Adulthood is this unpredictable landscape, and sometimes it's this beautiful scenic route, and other times it is a maze with no clear exit. Have you ever felt that? The tension between where you are and where you want to be, who you are and who you thought you would be. And at times what can make things harder is this feeling of incompleteness. Through this maze that has often felt completely uncharted, I found pockets of unexpected joy, deeper connections, and growth. When I get those Snapchat notifications reminding me of where I was about a year ago, I tend to make these Snapchat journals of my feelings. Sometimes I am impressed with how far I've come, or just how much I've learned to handle. And in some ways that is therapeutic. To be honest, if you ask me, I think it is necessary to go through the 7 stages of grief. I remember how low I felt when I looked around and I just knew I was not where I was meant to be or where I thought I should be, and my self-esteem was shot. So I have come to realize that grieving over lost dreams is not just natural, it is essential. We mourn for the life and self we had anticipated. But then having to remember that with life's canvases that's ever changing, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm slowly, very slowly, understanding that self-identity is fluid, that we are allowed to paint and repaint the pictures of our future with new canvases, new colors, and even a different easel. There are many experiences, learnings, and growth that shape us and help us grow into the best version of ourselves for our future. Did I see myself being where I'm currently at a few years ago? No. But this new version of myself can completely see how my path and journey to this point has in some ways been beyond my expectations. In this unpredictable, unexpected journey, there have been these moments of sheer joy, deep connections, and unexpected opportunities. In the past few years, there have been experiences I have had, relationships that have grown, feelings that have been felt, opportunities that have been received, and places that I have seen that have truly been beautiful and imprinted on me and impacted me in ways that I never knew possible. Similarly, I've been able to get a much deeper understanding of myself, what I do and don't want, what I can and can't handle. And am I 100% happy? No. Am I still grieving in some ways? Most definitely. But when I look at the stories of people who have inspired me, I fail to see a person whose life has gone exactly according to plan. That common thread that binds us all is that life has consistently had these twists and turns, and that helps me feel a little less alone. And according to an article I read called Why Your Late 20s Are the Worst Time of Your Life by Ran Zilka, which is a really great read. You should go check it out. And if you want the link to it, you should sign up to our newsletter at thelayeredexperience.com. It says, yet even though the intake of stress continues to rise into the 30s and 40s, the person's emotional response to it declines. Most people start to experience an increase in positive emotions as early as their late 30s. And a few years later also experience a significant improvement in overall satisfaction with life. This positive process starts after the quarter-life crisis and continues as people find new ways to deal with interpersonal work and family stresses. One's late 20s and early 30s, from an emotional perspective, are therefore the worst part of life. It's during these years that people experience the most negative thoughts and feelings and experience the most mind-wandering, a psychological state that has been shown to be detrimental to well-being. So I know that was a mouthful, but the reason why I bring this up to you all is that it is encouraging to know that with each passing year, we're going to gain this sense of clarity to see life's complexities for what they truly are, trust in our own strength, and understand that the fleeting pangs of emotions are just that, fleeting. They don't have to define us, and growing older is growing richer in mind and spirit, and it's comforting to know that for those of us in our 20s who are battling with this period of uncertainty in life, again, I want you to remember that you are not alone, and even though the journey can be tiring, especially considering that there is no exact rubric on where you should go next, I do not want you to feel ashamed. I found that too blocks us from reaching our true potential into the next phase. Trust me, the more I spoke about my feelings and the ways I felt like I was not measuring up, the more I realized it was not just me. And I know I definitely do not have all of the answers, which is why I turned to our community to find out how they are navigating these times. So, welcome to one of my favorite segments, the Echo Chamber, the part where I hear your layered opinions, experiences, and advice. Well, I asked, how have you coped, adapted, and grown amidst these unforeseen turns of life? And this is what I heard back from you lovely listeners. Girl, I think life unfolding differently be deemed as good or bad. My few pieces of advice would be, you may not understand why things are happening the way that they are. Take things one step at a time, and you may find things happen how they were supposed to for your benefit. If one door closes, another one opens kind of mindset. It's important to take a moment to process how you're feeling and don't respond to emotion. To me, the worst thing that someone could do would be to respond in a way that they would regret later. I think this comes with emotional maturity. Yes, back to the article we just read. My advice to be better at this would be to practice mindfulness and be self-reflective. Also, thank you for going so in-depth and taking your time to write that response. Another person said, be selfish. Sometimes do things you enjoy. Spend time by yourself. I love that because I love spending time by myself. Take yourself out to dinner or a movie. We got another piece of advice. When life gets tough, it can be hard to give yourself grace. So I think even an hour a week can really benefit people to process changes. Mentality that there are always other options, cities, and places to look forward to. I love that. It's more the cup is half full rather than half empty. Trust the process, and you do not need to understand everything as it's happening. When I received that one, I was like, is this person trying to at me? Because one thing about me, I love to know what is happening, what is the next step, what does it all mean? I'm working on it. That's why we're here. I went back to my values to reimagine my goals. Goals shift, but who I am is always loving. I love the approach about our value system, our moral system. Those are set in stone. And if you listen to my previous episode about the 12-week year, let's remain agile. Let's have dreams and visions, but making sure that we keep updating and changing as well as remaining ambitious. Shriveled up, died, then remembered who I am. I love that. I think that's raw, that's honest. Sometimes you are literally picking yourself up from ground zero. But at the end of the day, you've got this. I know that sounds cheesy, but for real. Be kind to yourself and find an outlet to lessen the stress you may carry. Comparison is the thief of joy. Trust that you did the best you could and keep it pushing. This is a tough one because at the end of the day, like I said before, there's no true milestone. So sometimes you find yourself comparing yourself to your peers, not because you want what they have, but you want to be like, am I in the right place that I should be? But facts, you are running your own race. Remind yourself it happens and let yourself feel all the emotions in order to move on. Y'all, that's what I'm saying. You gotta grieve. Cried a lot, of course, but I always take a step back and look at how far I've come. It gives me hope. I love that. And the last piece of advice someone said was therapy with the heart emoji, which the girls are in therapy. I'm in therapy this year, so I stand that I support your mental health and physical health, and all the healths are extremely important because health is wealth. I've also been doing my own research on things that we can do, and remember, I'm also giving myself these pieces of advice because trust me, I need it. So the first thing is acceptance, just the power of acknowledging where you are, being in it, basking in that moment, not longing for the past or the future, because that can just also be its own kind of prison. Then there's gratitude, shifting the lens to focus on what we have rather than what we've lost or don't have. We can always get those things that we're trying to work towards, but in so many ways we are blessed. And I, at the very least, when it's hard, I wake up, I'm just grateful I can breathe today. I'm grateful for my mind to create, etc. Flexible dreaming, adjusting our visions and goals to fit our current reality without losing ambition. It's extremely important to remind ourselves that just because some goals haven't happened yet or are still to come does not mean we give up all hope on anything ever happening. Seeking guidance, whether that is having a mentor, a therapist, a spiritual leader, a friend, a parent, someone in your community that can help guide you to where you want to go, at least cheer you on and give you hope and pick you up at the times that you can't pick yourself up. I do find that sometimes the visions of who we thought we would be can hold us back from who we are meant to become. Who knows, you might end up being more fulfilled than you ever could have imagined. And even if that feels like that's not a possibility right now, that's okay too. It's not about how many times we fall, but how many times we try to pick ourselves up. I know that this is a tried and true analogy, and that's probably why it's used so much. But I was speaking to another dear friend who was in awe about her nephew starting to learn how to walk. And this is the inspiring thing about babies, is they have not been trained by the world yet to fear failure. They just keep trying and trying until they get it. And not only that, their community, whether that be their parents, extended family, teachers, they are all cheering them on at every attempt, at every milestone. In adulthood, I wish we would show each other that kind of support at every attempt, at every milestone, at every failure, because I think it paves the way to more greatness. As we navigate these unpredictable waters of life, let us remember that every detour, every unexpected turn is a part of our unique story. It's in these moments that we find our true strength and resilience. Unfortunately, with this episode, there's no way that I can wrap it up in a neat little bow and say that everything's going to be okay and perfect. And I'm learning that that's okay. We are all on this unique path and we're just trying to figure ourselves out. I do believe it's important to continue to dream big and set goals, even if they are different from the original ones. When I look at my own personal journey, I do look at how far I've come and see all the moments that have made me into who I am today. And now I have even bigger dreams, more goals. And honestly, it's brought me to this moment here with you today, which I'm extremely grateful for. As always, your time is gold, and I'm just glad that you are willing to spend it with me. If no one has told you recently, I'm proud of you. I believe in you, even if the road looks muddled. If this episode in any way has resonated with you or you feel like would resonate with a friend, please go ahead and share it with them, and let me also know down below what your experiences have been when your current reality diverges from the dreams you've set for yourself. I want to hear how you're navigating your own layered experiences and the unexpected turns and the way you've embraced or battled them. This is our shared journey of self-discovery and growth, and I want us to dig deeper. And as the wise words of Natasha Bedingfield go, the rest is still unwritten. Before signing off, please let's stay connected. Follow at The Layered Experience on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Go to thelayeredexperience.com. I love to be hearing from all of you, and I do truly appreciate all of the love you have shown the space. Until next time, keep unraveling, keep exploring, and embrace every layer of your unique journey. Goodbye.